Hi, Bali again. Wednesday. Hope you enjoyed the session yesterday with Now or Never. Be interested to see what you came up with. I might ask your teacher to send me, or at least, I don't know, scan and show me what you've done. It'd be really good. Um, I'm going to talk today. Today's Wednesday, so today we're doing Soccer Squad. So these are the 4 Soccer Squad stories. Let's do them in order. You've got starting 11, and then you've got missing, and then stars, and then glory. Very, very simple stories. They're about football. They're about 4 lads, Abs, Dal, Chris, and Jason, who are based in Leicester. They want to play for a team called Rushton Reds. Now, Rushton is basically a mashup of Rushmede and Evington. As a kid, I went to Judge Meadow, and I used to play for a local team in Evington called Evington Eagles. I didn't live in Evington, but I used to play for the team. And what I wanted to do with the stories was create a football series that was actually set in Leicester with real streets, real people. Every single character in these books, every single one, is based on somebody I know. They're based on people either I went to school with or people that I know or got to know as an adult. In case in point, my friend Byron, who I got to know as an adult, but I just imagined what he'd be like as a sort of 9, 10-year-old. The boys get to the football team. Basically, the starting 11 book is about them trying to get onto the team. They get onto the team, they've made it, they're really happy, and then they turn up for the first training session and half the boys have left. And they don't have enough players to start the new season. So the only option they have is that there is a girls team, Rushton Reds girls team. So the coach of the girls team, who's also based on a friend of mine, decides with the coaches of the boys team that they'll put the girls and the boys together. Now, the boys are a little bit funny about this. Boys can be like that sometimes when it comes to football. And what they do is they find out very quickly that actually the girls are really good. In fact, there's one girl called Lily who is better than all of them put together, and there's a couple of the lads that don't like that. And it's just, these are everyday adventures. So stuff that goes on outside school, stuff that goes on in school, and also stuff that goes on with the football. And what I wanted to do was write a football series that was the kind of thing that I could relate to when I was a kid. See, when I was growing up a long time ago now, you couldn't read about Leicester, not really. There was The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole and those books by Sue Townsend. And Sue Townsend was my hero. She's the reason I loved writing about Leicester, or started writing about Leicester and wanted to write about Leicester, but also loved books about real life. And there weren't enough of those. So what I wanted to do was to create a series where if you read it and you live in a city like Leicester or Birmingham, Manchester or London, wherever, you sort of recognize yourself and your friends and the streets that you actually know as part of the story. Now, that's really important. A large part of why young people sometimes don't read is they don't connect to the books. And I think it's also very important, and lots of people think this way, that we represent all the different aspects, all the different ways of being British, all the different lives that we see. And there's not enough of that. So I'm going to set you a task today, and the task is pretty simple, but it's also something hopefully that'll make you think. You see, often when we write, and often when young people write, they will write about somebody that isn't them. Now, I said this yesterday about Now or Never, but that's a kind of historical story. For today's task, what I'd like you to do is to write an adventure in which the setting and the characters, and if there's a school, etc., they're all entirely real. I don't want you to invent a tree. I don't want you to make up a street name, use the street names you know. I did that with my first novel, An Arranged Marriage. So places like East Park Road, Evington Road, Spinney Park, they all feature as the actual settings. And that's what I want you to do. So think about putting together some kind of simple little story, an adventure. Again, just an introduction, a sort of first chapter really. But introduce yourself and a friend. Don't have more than one friend, because if you add too many, you're going to complicate the story or overcomplicate it. It becomes more difficult to write. But the idea is you write science fiction, fantasy, ghost stories. It doesn't really matter. Most of the time, those stories tend to be about the same types of people. And what I want to do is to show you that you can actually kind of widen the number of people involved or the types of people involved. So if your name's Mohammed or Dave, or I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? You are equally able to be part of a story, and particularly a city like Leicester, and we have the most multiracial city anywhere in the UK. It's really important that we begin to represent the lives of all the people that live in the city. Something I've been doing for 20 years. There are other authors, a young writer or a newer writer called A.M. Dasu who's doing that, a friend of mine, Earthen Master. There are these stories that we are putting together, or stories that we're thinking about, that are about our city and about the people in our city. And that's really, really important. So that's today's task. Have some fun with it. I have a really, I don't know how many of you know the fried chicken shops, the Maryland ones. I have a lot of fun because I know the guy that started those. I have a lot of fun when I write real life stories, because there's always a fried chicken shop. You know, there's always Evington Road, even if I don't call it Evington Road in my head, because that's kind of where I grew up. East Pot Road, Spinney Hill, etc., etc. So I want you to do that. I want you to have some fun with it. And remember, you can write any kind of story. It doesn't really matter. For tomorrow's session, which I'll get on to tomorrow, I'll show you how we can extend that and turn it into any kind of story you like. But for now, setting, characters, and the intro to an adventure with you, your family, your friends, your teachers, your school, and your streets, the streets that you actually know. Okay, I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Take care.